It is Wednesday, March 12th, and Senator John Fetterman quickly becoming the most sane Dem in Washington. And after his interview this morning with MSNBC, also becoming persona non grata amongst the left. Wait till you see this. John Fetterman exposing this eat the rich rhetoric and rebuffing MSNBC live on air, defending Elon Musk and Donald Trump. This is great. We're going to show you also President Trump promised lower prices, promised to fix inflation, and he's delivering. Core consumer prices falling to their lowest level in 4 years. And an update on Trump's pledge to close the Department of Education. It is happening. This morning, 50% of its workforce terminated. And more stories as well from around the country. But before we get started, thank you for liking and sharing these videos. It really helps out the channel. And consider subscribing so you don't miss these regular updates. So the Democrat Party is collapsing in real time. They are the most unpopular political party in modern history, according to the numbers. Lowest approval ratings in 50 years. And after getting trounced in November, we're now seeing these different factions forming, the largest of which is your Adam Schiffs and your Nancy Pelosi's, who are just doubling down even harder on what they've been doing. But there's others, like your AOCs, who are in this confused state, this confused caucus, throwing everything they can against the wall, seeing what sticks. But there's a few of them. I can count them on one hand. It appears like they've done some introspection, looked inwards, and realized all this anti-American crap doesn't fly, doesn't work anymore. One of them, Senator of Pennsylvania, John Fetterman, who is quickly becoming the only rational and sane Democrat in Washington this morning. In an MSNBC interview, Stephanie Ruhle really tries to get Fetterman to condemn the Trump administration, to join her and every other Dem in labeling them oligarchs. Call them the oligarch party, saying, don't you agree Trump is making America into an oligarchy? Well, he doesn't not only not take the bait, but he goes further, calling her a hypocrite. Calls his party a bunch of hypocrites, saying the Dem Party has more billionaires and more one-percenters than Republicans by like a 10-to-1 factor. Watch.
President Trump is surrounded by the wealthiest cabinet, the wealthiest administration in modern U.S. history. Does this concern you? I don't think it's so much about their wealth. It's just because they might have some kind of the views or some things that I don't agree, and they would push a lot of decisions and changes in our government that I wouldn't support or would like to see happen in there too. So it doesn't really follow their wealth. For me, it just follows some of these kinds of core beliefs and the things that they're willing to push and to do. What about this idea that we're sort of creating American oligarchs?
Yeah, and I was asked Democrats, like, start talking like a regular person. Most people are not sure what an oligarch is. You know, it's like, okay, is an oligarch, is it like a rich dude or woman? Okay, well, but there's also a little secret too. Democrats, you know, we like billionaires if they're giving to our causes or to our party as well too.
But there's a difference. Hold on. There's a difference between a very wealthy donor. It's
unlimited money. It's unlimited money. That's the poison of American democracy. Get rid of unlimited money, and then that would render billionaires on either side to those kinds of a thing. And so remember, a lot of these billionaires that were in tech, they used to be more friendly to the Democratic interest in our party as well too. So,
but there's a difference.
Unlimited money, get rid of that, and that would transform America more than any single other decision.
Absolutely. We are 15 years and 2 months since the Citizens United decision, and it has changed politics forever, it seems. But there's a difference between very wealthy political donors and very wealthy people inside the government making decisions that could potentially enrich themselves and their businesses. Look at Elon Musk. He hasn't divested himself from his businesses, and he's a guy with $38 billion worth of government contracts. That's different from being a Democratic donor who has the president's ear or at the very least his phone number.
Well, what I would say is that sometimes it's the, you know, I'm not sure if they necessarily are motivated just, you know, based on money. When, you know, most of those folks, whether it's Bezos or Musk, they have far more than you can spend in 100 lifetimes. So for that, I think, you know, I think scarcity defines the luxury. So that's why a lot of them want to be engaged on that, because they have unlimited money. So I think they want to be part of the conversation.
So
because,
you think
He sums it up. The language we're now hearing, this dogmatic approach to hating success, penalizing success, is again not only un-American, but it's fake. It's a lie. They don't believe it. They just think it's going to help them relate to more people. The problem, though, is they'll be eating their own. It's why the largest auto union in the country came out yesterday or on Monday and excoriated Democrats, UAW, endorsing Donald Trump. That just happened. We played the United Auto Workers president. We played the interview yesterday, but the more insidious, dishonest part is that they're trying to convince all of us, trying to convince America that it's a bad idea to get advice from people like Elon Musk, from successful people. They want mediocrity, folks. In another story, we've been hearing from Dems in the media for 6 weeks how Trump's going to raise prices, how his tariffs are a tax on Americans, how he failed. He lied, they say, during the campaign about knowing how to lower the costs of everyday items. Well, guess what? He's succeeding. Only 50 days in office, and already he's achieved more on this front than Biden did for 4 years. This morning, February CPI report, the inflation report dropping, core consumer prices falling the most in 4 years. The annual inflation rate now 2.8%, inside the Fed's 2 to 3% target, and much lower than expected. All week, CNN was buttering their audience up for this report to show higher prices. They wanted to add on to the panic that we've been seeing. Well, watch what happened when this report drops this morning. Watch this.
Finally, we have some good news on the economy and really the number one issue for many Americans, the cost of living. So we just learned that consumer prices in February increased by 2.8% year over year, 0.2% month over month. Both of these figures were a step in the right direction, and both were better than expected. So this is definitely very encouraging to see, because it's going to, I think, relieve some fears that inflation was perhaps re-accelerating, because this actually breaks a streak of 4 straight months where I think you could see it on the chart all the way to the right, where the inflation rate was going in the wrong direction, right? It was going higher and higher. Finally, we're seeing it dip.
So what did happen? Why did inflation fall? Is it valid to credit Donald Trump with this? He's only been in office 50 days. Yes, it is. Inflation fell because energy prices cratered last month. Look at this. Something Trump said all throughout the campaign: drill, baby, drill. And it's already working. We now have the lowest core inflation in 4 years. Mortgage rates are crashing. The 10-year treasury's crashing. Airline fares are down. Gas prices are really down. And no more illegal aliens entering this country, taking American jobs. Here's the thing. There's this huge confluence of things not being factored into market sentiment right now. In a few weeks, tariff revenues will start being collected. No more illegal aliens taking American jobs. All that waste, fraud, and abuse, the hundreds of billions of dollars, hopefully over $1 trillion, Trump and Doge will be saving taxpayers. All of these things are happening, balancing the budget. But the payoff hasn't been felt yet. But it's coming. In another story, President Trump has begun dismantling the Department of Education this morning. 50% of all employees were axed, terminated. But before we look at this, a quick message from our friends over at Lear Capital. Markets are at all-time highs. The economy seems unstoppable. Euphoria has officially set in as Trump strives to make America great again. Don't get me wrong. I have high hopes for Trump and the United States, but he has a huge job ahead. The last administration left us a legacy of unbelievable inflation and debt so big that interest alone on our debt is $1 trillion a year. Think about that. It's going to take a lot of digging to get us out of this hole. While inflation has destroyed purchasing power, gold has been my safety net. I personally experienced the benefits of owning gold. That's why I partnered with Lear Capital. They specialize in helping people like me and you protect and grow our hard-earned savings and retirement accounts with gold. Did you know during Trump's last presidency, gold rose 65% to a record high? If it happens again, that puts gold at $4,200 an ounce in Trump's next term. I recommend you call Lear today at 800-885 2175 or go to learrj.com for your free gold investor kit and special report. $4,200 gold could be ahead. Lear is an education-first company. There's no pressure to buy, just free information to see if gold is right for you. Lear has 27 years experience, thousands of five-star reviews, $3 billion in trusted transactions, and is the only company with a 24-hour risk-free purchase guarantee. So you don't pay unless you're 100% satisfied. That's why I trust Lear, and you can too. So call 800-885-2175 or go to learrj.com. Ask how you can also get up to $15,000 in bonus gold with a qualifying purchase. Call 800-885-2175 or go to learrj.com. You'll be glad you did. So the Department of Education, one of the many federal agencies that shouldn't exist at all, in my view, it's the first one which should be closed down, eliminated completely. And Trump's doing that. The new Secretary of Education, Linda McMahon, announcing yesterday she has terminated 50% of all Department of Education federal employees, saying she wasn't confirmed to run the Department of Education, but to oversee its closure. Amen. Watch.
Madam Secretary, great to have you in studio today. All right. First, welcome to the show, because you haven't been on in studio with me before. Now, is this the first step on the road to a total shutdown?
Yes, actually it is, because that was the president's mandate, his directive to me, clearly is to shut down the Department of Education, which we know we'll have to work with Congress, to get that accomplished. But what we did today was to take the first step of eliminating what I think is bureaucratic bloat. And that's not to say that a lot of the folks, it's a humanitarian thing too. A lot of the folks that are there, they're out of a job. But we wanted to make sure that we kept all of the right people, the good people, to make sure that the outward-facing programs, the grants, the appropriations that come from Congress, all of that are being met. And none of that's going to fall through the cracks.
So that was my next question. So the criteria for keeping that 50% is related to expenditures and key programs?
Correct. Congress appropriates the money that is going through Title I to IDEA programs.
What's that stand for?
Do you know what? I'm not sure I can tell you exactly what it stands for, except that it's the Programs for Disabled and Needs.
Individuals with Disabilities Act, I think. Yeah.
Yes.
I'm guessing. I don't know. I don't know all my acronyms. I've been here for 30 years.
This is my fifth day on the job, and I'm really trying to learn them very quickly.
Right. It's a lot. So reports today said that the buildings were going to be closed for security reasons. What does that mean? Well,
when people left today and they got their notification to take their laptops and their phones home with them, and we didn't want part of the people who were being permanently let go and those who are remaining to some of them show up to work tomorrow morning.
That's standard corporate
practice. So
it's
just standard corporate practice that we just...
Now, to completely erase the agency, it's going to take an act of Congress, which is in the works. $600 billion in tax dollars goes to the Department of Education annually. $600 billion of our money. And why? 90% of public schools are funded by the states. 90%. So where's the money going? That money's got nothing to do with student loans. Billions are given in grants to higher education, to Harvard, to Columbia, to Princeton, Berkeley. Why in the world are we subsidizing Harvard? Why are our tax dollars going to the richest institutions on the planet? Harvard's got a $52 billion endowment. They don't need our tax dollars. We've explained all of this in prior videos, why this agency shouldn't exist, why student loans should be handled by Treasury or the SBA like almost all other federal loans. In the meantime, Linda McMahon closing it down. The work she's doing is implementing planning, training, coordination of transitioning back to state control, and good riddance. In another story, the media had an all-day conniption yesterday after President Trump bought his first electric vehicle, announcing on Truth Social yesterday morning that he was buying a Tesla to support one of the best American car companies. Elon coming to the White House with a line of these brand new, right off the factory floor Teslas for Trump to choose from. Here was Trump picking a red Model S Plaid, picking it over the Cybertruck, by the way. Watch.
That's pretty
It's
good.
going to look beautiful.
Okay? I'm going to look at this. I'm going to make a decision. Do you want to hear what my decision is?
Let's see it.
Okay. What's your best of these cars? What do you think?
Well, the car that I drive is the Model S Platinum.
Which is that one?
That red one in the middle.
I like that. Yeah.
0 to 60 miles an hour. It's a
Jeff, they're going to be using it. I'm not allowed to use it. That's the fast one.
Just to be clear, sir, the 50%, is that going to go into effect on Canada or not?
Which one?
The 50% tariffs?
I'll let you know about it.
Okay.
The media having an utter meltdown over this, over the President of the United States showing support to an American company. A company who's under attack as we speak. The left trying to bankrupt Tesla, force Musk out of a job, force his board to pressure him to step down. President Trump announcing the DOJ will be prosecuting anyone who vandalizes or violently attacks a Tesla dealership as a domestic terror IST. Now, the reactions to this was interesting. Corporate media were very angry about this, suddenly claiming this is an attack on free speech. Why do you think they're doing that? Saying that, defending violence against Tesla, because these are paid actors. It's going to be hard to recruit people now. Watch.
But then you also overnight have this post claiming that protests at Tesla dealerships are illegal. He said today he would label violence against dealerships domestic terrorism. Now, you know I am judicious in how I play this sound, but I think you need to hear it from him.
Mr. President talks about some of the violence that's been going on around the country at dealerships. Some say they should be labeled domestic terrorists.
I will do that. I'll do it. I'm going to stop them. We catch anybody doing it because they're harming a great American company. Let me tell you, you do it to Tesla and you do it to any company, we're going to catch you and you're going to go through hell.
So just to be clear, you protest a private company, you are labeled by this administration a domestic terrorist.
All right, that wraps up this episode. Like, subscribe. We'll see you next time.